Hello. So, it's been a while since I last uploaded. 13 days, actually. But the reason that I haven't been uploading is because I was at Disneyland. I mean, like, Tyler, we're looking at the title. What does that have anything to do with Karl Anthony Towns being traded to the Knicks? The reason that I bring up the story of the fact that I was at Disneyland is because I was there with a couple of my dad's family friends, and they went to California Adventure while we were in Disneyland because they bought the all-day passes, and we went the day before. And while they were there, they saw one Karl Anthony Towns. And I remember sitting there like, did you get a picture? Did you do this? And they said no, they didn't get a picture because they wanted to respect him. They wanted to respect the fact that he's just there to enjoy himself. He's not there to take pictures with fans or anything like that. So I was upset. But the one thing they said was he's tall. He is tall. He plays center. More power forward, but is a center build. Right? And I remember sitting there thinking, wow, that must be nice. Being able to just go to Disneyland and / California Adventure and know that you're going to be back in the NBA on the same team. Guaranteed. There's no chance that you're leaving. And then, literally 2 days later, the Timberwolves on their Twitter, or X, whatever you call it, posted a little picture of Karl Anthony Towns being hugged by Anthony Edwards with the captions, "Look who's back." And I literally responded under that video stating, "Bro was at Disneyland. Must be nice coming back." Right? I'm still a little upset about the whole fact that Timberwolves beat the Suns in 4 games, but I can respect a dude when I need to, right? And I remember sitting there, again, thinking this must be so nice, coming back to your team after just taking a little relaxation, getting back to work, right? And then a day later, Karl Anthony Towns was traded. I remember sitting there at my aunt's house in California wondering, what just happened? I was in complete shock. I was flabbergasted. I was befounded. I was so just out of it. This man goes on vacation, comes back. You post the fact that he comes back just for you to trade him. And then I laughed. You want to know why I laughed? Because I noticed one thing. This trade might go down as the dumbest trade of all time. And you may be saying there to yourself, Tyler, you have no say in the matter. You're not an NBA expert. You're not even really good at basketball. Why on earth are you sharing your opinion? You want to know why I think this is the dumbest trade of all time? Because neither team got better, in my personal opinion. And you may be like, Tyler, whoa, that's crazy. The Knicks literally just solved their biggest need, and the Timberwolves just got way more flexible with their cap over the next couple of years. And I look at you and I say, okay, that doesn't mean they got better. So let me break it down for you. Knicks, when they traded for Mikal Bridges, I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, the Nets actually agreed to trade him to their rival, their in-state rival, making them so much better and making them so much worse. That's insane. I was shocked. I was beyond myself, right? And I remember sitting there really happy for some reason, because Mikal Bridges obviously started off on my Suns, and I really want him to just succeed. Not more than the Suns, but succeed nonetheless. To see him go play with his 3 friends from Villanova when they won the national championship was great. It was awesome. It made me feel happy inside because they could do whatever they want. They're best friends. They're going to play off the power of friendship alone. And with that move, all they needed to do was re-sign Isaiah Hartenstein, and they have their center, they have their backup in Precious Achiuwa, and they're good. They can deal with Mitchell Robinson being out till January to come back to this stacked, defensive-minded team. and they didn't re-sign Isaiah Hartenstein. And I remember sitting there like, what? Your star player, Jalen Brunson, just took a $100 million pay cut because he wanted Isaiah Hartenstein to come back, and you didn't let that happen. I was like, they need a center now, right? That was the biggest issue now, because Mitchell Robinson's out till January at least, and Precious Achiuwa isn't a good enough starter. He's a smaller center. He's not big enough to guard the likes of Joel Embiid. We saw that in the playoffs. And he wasn't good enough to even guard Miles Turner, right? Jericho Sims, yeah, he's taller and more athletic, but he's young. He's a young center, right? So that left one gaping hole. And I saw rumors of, they're going to try and trade for Miles Turner. They're going to try and trade for DeAndre Ayton. If your team is trying to trade for DeAndre Ayton, hoping that it could be the saving grace of the season, what are you doing? People were saying Coach Thibodeau can fix DeAndre Ayton. No, he can't. He cannot fix DeAndre Ayton. Trust me, he can't. But I was sitting there. I was like, who are they going to trade? I was talking with my dad about it. I was like, who is there available to trade for to get a starting center? And the last person I would ever expect was Karl Anthony Towns. So let's break down the trade. As you can see, the Knicks will get Karl Anthony Towns, and the Timberwolves will get Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, Keita Bates-Diop, and a Detroit first-round pick. That's lottery protected. As for Daquan Jeffries, he's going to Charlotte. Don't really know that part yet. But that is the full trade so far. So let's go team by team. First off, we're going to ignore the Hornets because we don't really know the extent of how much they are involved in this trade as of September 30th. So Daquan Jeffries, he's going to Charlotte. That's really all we know, right? But then, let's start off with the Knicks. As I was saying earlier in the video, the Knicks needed one thing. They needed a center. They needed someone who could fill in that role until Mitchell Robinson can come back. So what better way to do that than get a all-star center? A guy who's been there, done that, done everything, has given everything for 10 years. An experienced guy, a great player. The only reason that I don't like this, though, is Karl Anthony Towns isn't a center. I mean, you'd be like, Tyler, what are you talking about? The man's 7 feet tall. The thing is, why did the Timberwolves trade for Rudy Gobert? That was a question all of last year, all of the year before that. Why did they trade for Rudy Gobert if they already had a center in Karl Anthony Towns? And we found out the reason last year. Not the year before that, but last year. Now, before we continue, I have to get this off my chest. Personally, I think Rudy Gobert is one of the worst players in the NBA. I hate virtually everything about his game. I definitely don't think he deserves Defensive Player of the Year. But that's a conversation for another video. The reason they traded for Rudy Gobert was because the Timberwolves realized if they ever want to win, they need a defensive player right next to Karl Anthony Towns. Because KAT trying to guard Jokic is not smart. KAT trying to guard Anthony Davis is not smart. But KAT trying to guard, who knows, Jared Vanderbilt? KAT trying to guard Aaron Gordon? He can do that. Not very well, but he can do that. Basically, what I'm saying is Karl Anthony Towns is not a defensive center. He never was. He never will be. He's an offensive threat. He's a three-point shooter. He's a stretch 4-5. That's the reason they traded for Rudy Gobert, is because they needed a guy who can sit there in the paint and go, nope, you're not blocking the shot, so that Karl Anthony Towns can not do that. Because KAT wasn't doing that. He wasn't being able to guard perimeter and paint. He could barely do one, and they were trying to have him do both. And that's what I don't understand. This Knicks team is amazing defensively. One of the best defensive teams I'm projecting. You got Josh Hart, you got OG Anunoby, you got Mikal Bridges. They're all great defensively. But they also but none of them can guard Joel Embiid. They can slow him down, yes, but they can't guard him for the full game, for 40 minutes of a game. In the playoffs, if you're having OG Anunoby as the main defender against Joel Embiid, you're not going to win that game. Because Joel is going to draw fouls, Joel is going to shoot over him, and Joel is going to overpower him. Which is why having Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein last year was amazing for them. Having Isaiah Hartenstein being there like, you're not getting past me, Joel, it's not happening, is great for their team. And now Joel Embiid is sitting there, wherever he is, probably at 76ers training camp right now, laughing his ass off, knowing that they traded for Karl Anthony Towns for multiple games against the 76ers. Karl Anthony Towns is going to be the main defender of Joel Embiid. This man, who they brought in a defensive player of the year to help guard players because he couldn't, is going to be guarding a former MVP for 4 times a year, at least. That is not a recipe for winning. Now you may be like, Tyler, Karl Anthony Towns is there for offense. They need a 3-point shooting. They just gave up a 41% 3-point shooter in Dante DiVincenzo. And Julius Randle is a former All-Star. Like, I don't think you understand what this means. Karl Anthony Towns is not a good enough defender for the East. He was great in the West. You want to know why? Because he wasn't the main defender. You may be like, well, Tyler, in the Suns series, he was guarding Kevin Durant. No, he wasn't. It was Jaden McDaniels. He was guarding Grayson Allen for half the game. What? Grayson Allen? Like, KAT is going to be surrounded by great defenders, but none of them can defend a center for longer than 5 minutes. And you may be like, well, just switch on to them. KAT can't defend a guard. If he can't defend his own position, how the hell is he supposed to defend a 6-foot guard who can move around and dribble the ball? He's not. He's not going to. It's not going to happen. So that's what I don't understand about this trade. But now let's look at the other side. The Timberwolves. I have been saying this since the Rudy Gobert trade. Whoever is in charge of the Timberwolves organization has no idea what the fuck they're doing. They make the most brain-dead decisions. The fact that they made the Western Conference Finals should be considered a miracle at this point. Because this is stupid. This is a next level stupid. Anthony Edwards has been a great player for them. Karl Anthony Towns has been a great player for them. Literally, they're only 2 great players for them in the last 10 years of their franchise. They make the Western Conference Finals in a stacked West. One of the best, most powerful Wests we've ever seen. There's so much star power in the West, it's not even funny. You beat the Suns in 4, who has Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. Then you go on to play the defending national champions in the semis and beat them in 7. And then you go on to play the Mavericks, and the Mavericks did something that I could say forever. They exploited the fact that Rudy Gobert can't defend a pick and roll, which every team with a point guard, a competent point guard, should be able to affect, but that's beside the point, right? But you made it to the Western Conference Finals. You build off of that. You go, oh my gosh, this team's good. And these cheap-ass owners go, we're spending too much money already. What? You're the one that signed the people. You signed all of them. You traded for the one of the most expensive centers for no fucking reason. He's getting paid probably 2 times as much money as I would ever pay him. You traded basically half your team for him. And you go, that other center, the reason we traded for this guy? Yeah, we're just going to trade away. The guy who's been here for 10 years, who's given everything for your franchise, who's never complained, never asked for a trade, never once was like, this team sucks. He never talked back. He sat there, did his job, and was enjoying himself. Was working on his game, getting better every single season. Was a former All-Star. Literally your cornerstone of your franchise. You go, we'll just trade him away. What? You'll just trade him away? You're just going to trade him away. The guy that gave everything for 10 years, you're just going to trade away like that. Like he's just nothing. And the person I feel the worst for is Anthony Edwards, because he's looking at Karl Anthony Towns going, that could be me. And I'm not saying Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns are on the same level as players. I'm talking about this organization is so fucking cheap. They might just go, yeah, I understand you're like one of our best players we've ever had in our franchise history, but I'm still going to trade you because we just don't want to spend the money. Why would you pay Rudy Gobert $34 million a year if you're not going to pay Karl Anthony Towns, who's way better in everything except defense, the same amount of money that you signed him to? And reports came out that they would need to trade fan favorite and sixth man of the year Naz Reid and Nickeil Alexander-Walker instead of Karl Anthony Towns to make up the same amount of money. Why would you not do that? I understand people love Naz Reid. They love that man. He is amazing for them. He's a great bench center. Why the fuck would you not trade him if you're going to keep an all-star? Naz Reid is amazing. Is he ever going to be an all-star? Probably not, unless he gets like a team like the Pistons, who just goes, oh, we'll pay you like $100 million to come here and average 20 and 10 for us, but never be good. He's a great sixth man. He's not going to be better than that. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker? Nickeil Alexander-Walker, not Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Nickeil Alexander-Walker. That's the guy you didn't give up so you could keep Karl Anthony Towns. That's crazy to me. I don't care what you say. That's insane. You traded away one of your franchise's best players they've ever had for nothing. And maybe like, Tyler, you just said Julius Randle's a former All-Star. Who just came off of a knee injury. That's never good in the NBA. You may be like, well, Donte DiVincenzo, he's a 41% three-point shooter. He could be really good off the bench. The reason Donte DiVincenzo didn't want to stay with his best friends in the entire world because he wanted a starting position. Do you think he's going to get a starting position over Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, and Jaden McDaniels? Hell fucking no. That man is going to be upset the entire time. Because I guarantee you, as much as he would dislike being a sixth man in New York with all his buddies, he's going to hate being a seventh man more. Because you're not taking Naz Reid out. And Julius Randle's probably going to start because you just traded your all-star power forward for him. So you have a big predicament now. You're kind of just like squeezed into one location. There's nothing you could really do. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm a Suns fan. And I was upset when the Timberwolves and mainly Karl Anthony Towns and Naz Reid beat us in 4. I was so upset. I had so much hype going into last season, and to see it end like that, I was so angry. To see Karl Anthony Towns get traded for Julius Randle and Donte DiVincenzo, I feel so much better about the Suns. Because the Timberwolves got so much worse. And you may be like, the only good thing I could see about this trade is 2 things. Number 1, Julius Randle comes off the books next year because you have a team option, if I'm not mistaken, and then you got $30 million you could sign, right? I'm not saying they're going to get whoever is a free agent next year, but they'll get someone good, right? They'll get some role players to fill out here and there, right? And then the other thing is you got a Detroit Pistons pick. Now, it's lottery protected, which means it's not going to be used this year. But next year, that could be very good. That could be a great year to use that pick, right? It should be a high lottery pick because the Pistons, in my personal opinion, have no direction ever. They've never had a direction since Isaiah Thomas left, and they still don't. But the Timberwolves right now are in a terrible spot because you got two options currently. You start Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, and Rudy Gobert. Or you replace Julius Randle, put him on the bench for Naz Reid. Neither of them make them good, in my personal opinion. Because you got smaller, because Naz Reid is 6'9". He's not 7 feet like Karl Anthony Towns. You got worse offensively, because yes, Julius Randle can score 20, but here's the thing. Julius Randle scores 20 by taking shots away from everyone else. Anthony Edwards will be sitting there. Hey man, I'm open. I'm Anthony Edwards. I was just on Team USA. And Julius Randle will be like, you understand what I'm saying here? Julius Randle is a great player when he's allowed to be Julius Randle. And in this offense, Julius Randle being Julius Randle is the worst thing that they could have. Julius Randle will turn into a third or fourth option on this team. And that's not who he is. He wants to be the one option. Why he was in New York. That's why he became an all-star. Was because he was allowed to be the one option. Until Jalen Brunson showed up. But he still acted like he was the one option. Right? So that's what I don't understand about these trades. Is KAT was perfect for the Timberwolves. And you traded him away. And you didn't even get to see if the Nova Knicks would work. And Julius Randle could sit there in New York and pretend to be the number one option. And everyone would be like, At least we're winning, right? Spike Lee would be sitting there on the sidelines going, Julius Randle's the greatest player of all time. He's not. He's not, Spike. You can calm down. But for my personal grading, I rate the Knicks a C, just a C. We'll say a C for now. Because KAT, he's great, but I think they, gave up a little too much, but that's fine. And I don't feel like he would be the best option there at center, because you need someone who can guard the centers and power forwards in the East, and you didn't get that guy. You got KAT, Big Purr going to guard Joel Embiid every 4 games. Just listens to how that sound. That sounds terrible. That sounds like an awful idea. And then I do rate the Timberwolves as a C- because I just don't see what they're doing. You have the best team you've ever had in franchise history, and you just go, money's more important. I hate owners that are like that. I had to deal with Robert Sarver, Michael Bidwell still I have to deal with, and they suck. They're terrible. They're terrible owners. They go, money's more important. Why would you buy a franchise just to go, I'd rather have nothing than be the best team. I'd rather be the worst team but be making a bunch of money than be the best team in the league. Look at the Celtics ownership. They signed everyone to extensions. They made it look like they were the best team. They are the best team. They made everything good about their team. And now they're trying to sell it because they noticed we just maximized our value. We literally can't get better in value right now. Yeah, we're the most expensive team in the league. So if we sell the team, we don't have to pay that. We've won championships. We've proven this roster can win championships. So every other billionaire out there is going to be like, I want to be a championship owner. So they're going to buy the Celtics to become championship owners. And they'll figure out money later. So when the Timberwolves ownerships goes, this is too much to spend, it really ticks me off. Because from a competitor's standpoint, it's upsetting to see these billionaires who have more money than I ever will have in my entire life go, that's too much money. I'm not going to spend that. You very well could. You easily could, in fact. There's not a single owner of any sports franchise of the 3 major sports in America that is hungry for money. So why on earth would you not? You have the best team you've ever had, and you just decide to throw it away because you are money hungry at the end of the day. And that upsets me. So, as far as this trade, it's a confusing one, and it's a very stupid one in my personal opinion. But at the end of the day, we're not going to be doing much about it. I feel like this makes the Timberwolves worse. I feel like this gives a break to the West. Do I think they're going to drop out of the playoffs? No. I feel like they could be a good 7 seed. Max probably 3 still. Because Anthony Edwards is going to take another jump. It really all depends on if Rudy Gobert can, play basketball. And Julius Randle can play selfless basketball. That's what it comes down to. Because everyone else could click. Dante DiVincenzo, he's going to be fine. Even though he's not with the Nova Knicks, he's going to be good. It comes down to those two. And as far as the Knicks, I do feel like it makes them better. As much as I wanted to protest that it doesn't, I do feel like it makes them better. But it only makes them better when Mitchell Robinson comes back. Because when Mitchell Robinson comes back, this trade goes from a C to probably a B-. Because you have a center who's right next to KAT, who can defend, who can do all the things KAT really can't. And I've heard that they're trying to trade Mitchell Robinson. I don't understand that. The man's given up everything for your franchise. He's been there he's the longest tenured Knick currently. So why would you trade him if he's the perfect complement to Karl Anthony Towns' game? I don't get it. But at the end of the day, that's the reason I'm not an NBA GM. I don't understand half the stuff they're seeing. And us fans, we never really will. With that, though, thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Anything to make this channel grow. Hoping that I could get more back on a consistent track now that I'm back from my vacation. And peace out, all of you.